Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You have tuned in to The Real Story. Tonight we have for you, for your consideration, an episode we've titled Full Spectrum Bio-Eugenics. Yes, for your perusal, I have information that I would like you to do your own research. Don't believe me? Do your own due diligence. I will say that if you follow the money, you may find things. Well, I was going to start off with, here's a little bit, and this is the killer flu debate. Here, show them the picture, and here's how it goes. Yeah, we don't have bad enough flus. We now have to make airborne, they're weaponizing flus now, cross-species flus. And you ask yourself, why? So I'll ask you, the viewer, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that in multiple locations? Why are we funding people to do that? So that there can be an oops plague later? What is that about? I don't know if you remember, but, with BioShield and stuff, we were going to build 6 labs, then 12 labs. Now it's up to like 36 or 48 level 4 labs. Why? Geez, just wondering. Think about it. Give it some thought. Just because I've never known governments to make oops mistakes. Ever, never, 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 never. Oops, no, never. Okay, so what do I have for you, This one I thought was interesting. Vaccine killers. I got an interesting article here I want to show you, and you can see the picture. This was December 8th of 2011, about a year or so ago. And it was, all vaccines are contaminated. Every one of them. Now, I remember reading about SV40, the simian virus 40, being in the polio vaccines. And I remember Dr. Hilleman laughing as he said, yeah, the people will get lymphomas and sarcomas and melanomas because of this simian virus 40 that was in all of Merck's and everyone else's polio vaccine. I almost fell off my chair. But they were laughing because in the scientific community, he's like, hey, we knew it. But then I remember reading the Special Virus Cancer Program. There's 4 words to type into your search engine. Special Virus Cancer Program. Run by the United States government. Not your government. But anyway, where they said in the summary of year 8, they ran it for 15 years with your money. They said they could use hormones as triggers. Rather interesting. Going back once again to this polio vaccine, blah, blah, blah. But that's another one. Some homework. Type in Dr. Maurice Hilleman vaccines. Type in SV40, simian virus 40. There's a couple homeworks for you. But this one for you, the chief, if not the sole cause of the monstrous increase in cancer, has been vaccination. I say that to the Sharon Rotarians. Listen closely, viewers. It's the chief, if not sole, cause of monstrous increase in cancer has been vaccinations. Now, is that Daniel Hapney saying that? No, I'm just reading it. Let me tell you who made this statement. His name was Dr. Robert Bell, the once Vice President of International Society for Cancer Research. So it wasn't me who said the chief, if not sole cause of the monstrous increase in cancer has been vaccinations. I'll say to the Rotarians and Sharon who think they're going to save the world with Bill Gates, the globalist eugenicist, with their vaccinations, who's going to what? He's going to genetically modify mosquitoes so they can vaccinate you without your will. He's going to pay Monsanto. That's right, follow the money. Wasn't Bill Gates and Melinda just investing in Monsanto? And Monsanto's doing what? Genetically modifying crops so that the vaccine's in the crop, so as you ingest the food. Do you want to be genetically modified by Monsanto and William Gates? More importantly is, why did Monsanto buy Blackwater? Are any of my viewers following the money? But this gentleman, anyway, once again, he was the former vice president of International Society for Cancer Research at the British Cancer Hospital. So it's not me saying that. Well, anyway, with that, I have what I'd like to call a great clip-episode for you. Here's Alex Jones covering the full spectrum bio-eugenics. This is an attack against humanity.
They are attacking what it is to be human itself. They are attacking the human species. This is the end of mommy, the end of daddy, the end of little Johnny, the end of little Jenny. This is the end of everything we've ever been. This is scientific total domination. This is humans in a petri dish being manipulated by a bunch of control freaks. And we've got Bertrand Russell quotes. We've got UN quotes. We've got Ted Turner quotes. We've got Club of Rome quotes. We've got biological diversity assessment quotes. I've made films like Endgame. I've made all these films showing you their own manuals, showing you their own documents, buying their own textbooks, showing you the quotes. And you'll notice when I read these new documents today to you here in just a moment, checking how much time we've got, you'll notice that when I go over these, that you've heard all this before, but from other sources. This is what they're into. And as long as you're obsessed with Monday Night Football, and as long as the most important thing in your life is acting tough over at your neighbor's house when you play basketball, as long as garbage like that is what's most important to you, they do win. While we sleep, they live. I'm going to tell you why your wife's dying of breast cancer. I'm going to tell you why you got prostate cancer at 50. I'm going to tell you about a program to kill you, to hurt you, to dumb you down, to steal your fertility. Even if you don't want to have children, you weren't asked. And then they give you a culture of loving it and getting into it because it's going to become so prolific. And they're going to sell you on metrosexual. And they're going to sell you on all this because they want to get rid of the family. And to do that, you got to get rid of men. And you've got to get rid of women as loving providers of children. And it's all in their own sickening documents. Gloria Steinem, CIA, on record. These people are sick. They want to destroy the wonderful relationships men and women have had. They don't really, the leadership of this, care about gay and lesbian rights. It's not about that. It's about creating political groups that they've actually artificially increased with chemical warfare to then politically play society off against each other and divert everyone from the chemical warfare that we're under. Here's another UNESCO UN training manual for in-teacher service in the United States, where the UN sets all that. And in this document, it talks about the family is poisonous towards a world understanding for world socialism, 10-part for teachers. And it says that the child breathes the poison air of nationalism, and you got to get rid of the family that infects the child with extremism, you know, to have the global superstate. And it just goes through it all. It's unbelievably nightmarish. I have that report for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the BPA documents section. Here's government reports right here. Transfer of bisphenol A from thermal printer paper to the skin, and we checked the company we use. We're so weak-minded. This is actually bisphenol A because you can't really find printer ink that doesn't have it. And that's why people that are around printer ink have much higher rates of this. I mean, as much as I work out and everything, it's hard to have a higher estrogen level. I've actually gone and had my blood tested. It's going on. They're hitting me hard right now, and we're having to search for printer paper just so I can have a hard copy of this and not be poisoned. I mean, it's just everywhere. Their chemical warfare is everywhere. Here's another one. Centers for Disease Control admitting bisphenol A, totally deadly. Now they grind it into recycled everything. Toilet paper has it in it. It gets on the mucous membrane of your you-know-what, on women and men, and is going right into the body. Estrogen, 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 estrogen. You want to know why you have breasts as a man? This is it. Okay? And by the way, for women, it's a death sentence because it hyperfeminizes. You know about even 3-year-olds going to puberty? 5-year-olds, 6, 7, 8-year-olds? Because it's all in the food, the water, the plastics, that TV dinner for your kids, bisphenol A, look on the bottom. And what do they say in all these documents? We'll put it in the food, the water, the containers. We'll put it in things that everybody universally is involved in. Printer ink. Printer, the money is printed in bisphenol A. They have thousands of plastic calculations. I've had chemists on in plastics. I had a former Dow guy on years ago. They could have all these other varieties that are even cheaper, but they got the major corporations together to standardize and get tax breaks for bisphenol A, and they've been doing it for 50 years. Where's the American male? Where is he? He's been gelded. He's been chemically. You can actually pull up statistics, and I meant to do this in the report we shot today. I forgot. There's so many facets. Did you know that the genitals, both scrotum and penis, are getting smaller? Did you know men now, many men after the age of 40, just to have an erection, when studies showed just 30 years ago, men had erections into their 80s, men are having to go on hormone supplement just to have the normal levels. Not just the fertility, but our normal testosterone has gone down. And then the breast cancer. What it does to the breast, it hyperages, and what it does to the ovaries, the testicles, the prostate. I mean, it's a death sentence. I mean, now I'm anti-women because I don't think 3-year-olds should be going into puberty. By the way, you think I'm joking? 3-year-olds are now menstruating. In fact, Google it. As children as young as 3 to 5 now going into, I mean, it's happening. The boys are going into puberty later because they're on female hormones. And the girls, but I know you won't stop because it's not trendy. Just breast cancer, trendy, cool. You know, you notice they never talk about ways to find out why the U.S. has the highest rate and then Europe next for breast cancer. They know full damn well. It's all about treating it. How to burn your breast off, how to cut them off, how great it is, instead of telling you why these bastards are doing it to you. And then I'm not supposed to even get angry here. I haven't even gotten into the documents. I mean, here's CDC, but hey, CBS can just make fun of me. Growing up soon. Puberty strikes 7-year-old girls. Study in 3 major cities finds that puberty is rising among second graders. Yeah, no, there's actually now people age 3 if you actually look at the medical literature. And by the way, it's large numbers. The average age is now 10 now. In the 1950s, it was 14. So your boys are supposed to go into puberty at 11 to 13. Girls are supposed to go in 13 to 14 in all studies, the medical reports going back for hundreds of years. And of course, oh, the doctor assured them there was nothing wrong with the girl, and then they give them hormone treatments. Oh, here, we'll give you hormones to block you going into this, instead of saying, why are you on all these hormones? Why is this happening? Why? Why is cancer exploding? Breast cancer, several thousand %. Why? Instead, oh, don't worry, we got a treatment for that. And notice, typically, U.S. girls hit puberty around 10 or 11. Used to be 13 or 14. Now, oh, the old low age is now the new old age. And soon it'll be, well, typically girls go into puberty at 7 or 8, but now they go into it at 2 or 3. By the way, you read Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, whose brother was Julian Huxley and ran the UN UNESCO program. Before the UN even existed, in 1932, he wrote Brave New World, where the elite have different caste of humans, and they have humans that go into puberty by 7 to have more basic little drones, and they're all grown in these frickin' tanks. Go read it. And Huxley, before he died, spilt the beans in 62 at Berkeley and said, this is all planned, we're going to do it to you. Here's another one. London Telegraph, bisphenol, a now linked to male infertility. Sperm counts plunging, 87%. Toxic chemicals in branded clothing. It's in the clothing, it's in the food, it's in the water. They know, they're adding it, they're not stopping. It's a war. Canada declares BPA toxic, set stage for more. Some countries are trying to restrict it, but here in the U.S., they're just saying, you don't think you're going to stop us by choosing stuff that's bisphenol A? You're going to learn to read the number on the bottom? Because the elite like having that number. They're like, oh, I'm not getting that. That's not for me. It's all their little sick joke. They're just going, we're hitting everything. You think you're going to, just like when we exposed aspartame in the food and water killing people and causing problems? Now they've added it to tens of thousands of products, all the sugar gums, everything. They're like, you're not going to stop us for a minute. You know what aspartame is? Go look it up. I always tell people this, and they laugh at me until they look it up, and they go, oh, my God, you're right. The Pentagon was trying to create bacteria that produce chemical weapons. And it's one of the first genetically engineered bacteria in the 60s, 1967, E. coli, that eats toxic waste and craps out aspartame. It is bacteria crap. It's a highly toxic neurotoxin. And of course you want more of it. It gets you higher than a kite. You think Coca-Cola got angry when they couldn't put cocaine in it anymore? They just came out with this little goodie. It took them 3 tries to get it approved at the FDA until the former head of Searle, the subdivision of Monsanto, got in there in the Reagan administration and got it legalized. Have you read the monkey studies of what aspartame added to monkey milk did to the babies? Okay, here's the Washington Post from 4 years ago. FDA faulted for stance on chemicals and plastics. They tried to block it, and did block it, but people still started researching it and saying no to the products. Synthetic estrogen, BPA, cost cash register receipts, coats them, sterilizing the workers. Here's the deadly molecules. Here's the bisphenol A molecule. Give me document cams on all this. I'm just going to hurry through this here. We're going to have like a 2-hour show again tonight. There's all that. There's bisphenol A molecule. You might want to find out about this if you care about your family, or so what. Maybe you like breast cancer. I certainly don't. Just trying to save you. Puberty in girls hastened by harmful chemicals. BPA, common chemical linked to obesity. Oh, yeah, all of it.